Welcome to Rock Solid Productions, where in this video we are going to talk about how one character's arc in Rise of Skywalker kind of underscores some of the problems with the entire Disney sequel trilogy. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, Gary here with Rock Solid Productions. If this is your first time to the channel, I just want to take a second and say thanks for coming by and checking out what we have going on here. If you like what you see here, do me a favor, check out some of the other videos we have on the channel, including an over 2.5 hour live stream archive where we basically did a post-mortem on Rise of Skywalker. And if you really like what you see here, do me a huge favor. Hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification, and leave me a comment down below. I want to know what your favorite Star Wars movie between the 9 saga movies, Rogue One, and Solo, what's your favorite basically? Let me know down in the comments. So Rise of Skywalker is getting, well, very mixed reviews for a number of different reasons. The people who loved The Last Jedi hate the fact that essentially J.J. Abrams gave Rian Johnson the middle finger on a lot of things. And those who, just think that everything that Disney did with the saga is evil. There are those who don't like it. There are other people that just go for a good time, and those are the people that Rise of Skywalker has been appealing to. I didn't care for the movie a whole lot. I liked it more than The Last Jedi, but The Last Jedi is the worst Star Wars movie ever produced. It's even worse, at least in my opinion, than the holiday special. I just didn't care at all for what Rian Johnson did to neuter Luke Skywalker, the legacy of the Jedi, the legacy really of the franchise. I didn't care for it. But in Rise of Skywalker, first of all, if you liked it, I'm happy. I don't mind the fact that you like it. I wish I did. I just don't. There are too many things that I saw in that movie that just either didn't make sense, broke canon, or in other ways made it not a very good movie to me. One of the worst parts of that movie to me was when they take C-3PO. First of all, spoiler warning. I'm going to stop right here. This video is going to have a bunch of spoilers in it. So if you haven't seen it yet and you don't want it to be ruined, be known right now. I'm going to flash it on screen. Spoiler warning. Spoiler warning. Warning is out of the way. It was better than The Last Jedi, but that's really a low standard to set. I thought The Last Jedi was possibly the worst thing ever to come out of Star Wars. And The Last Jedi definitely has its fans, and The Rise of Skywalker has its fans as well. I'm not one of them. I did not like Rise of Skywalker either, but it was not nearly as bad as The Last Jedi was. The problem that I have, not just with The Rise of Skywalker, but the entire Disney trilogy, you can almost sum up, and I am going to sum up here, basically in the character arc of one character. Our favorite human-cyborg relations, C-3PO. See, the problem that I have with this trilogy in a lot of ways is the fact that the risks are not real. Granted, it's all pretend. There are no real risks. But let me get into this here. So looking at The Force Awakens, there are aspects in there that even in that own movie, it's a bait and switch. When Finn and Poe crash on Jakku, and Finn goes back to the ship to find Poe, Poe's not there, we are left to assume that Poe didn't make it. Later on we find out, oh no, he made it. He's alive. Never find out how. How? J.J. Abrams' mystery box. That's how. In The Last Jedi, we have Finn trying to sacrifice himself for the greater good, to take that risk, to knock out that, that Death Star-esque cannon. And then we have Rose Tico come and smack him out of the air. No risk, no reward. In The Rise of Skywalker, one of the things that took me out of the movie was what happens to C-3PO. And what I'm talking about is the fact, if you've seen the movie, you know how they found the Sith dagger that they needed to have translated. 3PO was able to translate it, but he was not able to share that translation as part of his programming. Now, why they couldn't just do like a RoboCop and delete one of the directives that he had in there to allow him to do that, I don't know. But they took him on a journey to go see one of the best droid hackers in the galaxy in Babu Frick. And Babu Frick went ahead and said that he could go ahead and make 3PO be able to do the translation. But to do that, there was a possibility that 3PO would lose all of his memories. And through some back and forth there, we have 3PO with a very emotional scene, where Poe asks what he's doing, and he says, "I'm taking one last look at my friends," and goes ahead and takes the risk. We all know what happens from there. Eyes turn red. We originally thought, through some of the leaks and whatnot, that meant that he was going to either turn evil, become a battle droid, something like that. No, it's just a matter of essentially they're bypassing the operating system and simply loading the BIOS, for lack of a better term, to have him do the translation, give the coordinates, so the story could progress. When they went ahead and fired him back up and reloaded everything, he was wiped. He introduces himself as C-3PO, human-cyborg relations, doesn't know anybody, doesn't know anything besides his name. I think it's weird that he knows his designation and name and everything, but let's go with it. Before everything happened, Finn asked the questions, "Doesn't R2-D2 back up your memories?" C-3PO dismisses it. You can never rely on R2-D2 and his faulty memory storage. We get back to the Resistance base after 3PO is introduced to R2-D2, and R2-D2 says that, something to the effect that he's his best friend. 3PO says that, "I think I would remember if I had a best friend," to which R2 takes exception with it, shuts him down, connects to a port in the back of his head. 3PO is back. It would have had a lot more weight to let 3PO lose it all. The fact, and I think that, like I mentioned, this is one of the things that I think really hurt the entire Disney trilogy, is there's a saying, no risk, no reward. No risk, K-N-O-W, no reward, K-N-O-W. Because the risk wasn't real, it wasn't legitimate, there was no investment being made, at least from my perspective. Now that I know that, it made that whole, I'm going to do this for the greater good, it just completely dumped all over it. It made it basically worthless, for lack of a better term. Same thing towards the end of the movie, where when you have Rey give herself, and Ben Solo comes back, and he basically uses the Force to force heal her and transfer his essence into her. There was no risk to her because he was there to bail her out. I think it would have been much more moving to have Ben Solo be the one to finally go ahead and defeat the Palpatines, both Rey and Sheev, and take the mantle of the last Skywalker, being the only one left of that lineage. But I really think, looking at the sacrifice that became a non-sacrifice for C-3PO, just weakened his whole storyline in this movie. It weakened the character. And this is a character that has had his memory wiped once before. We've seen in Revenge of the Sith, when Bail Organa takes possession of R2 and 3PO, he orders to have 3PO's memory wiped. Uncle Owen ordered to have his memory of both R2 and 3PO wiped. So while in A New Hope that didn't actually happen because of circumstances that moved the plot forward, it was one of those things where it was a very real risk that could have happened and wiped out the character that we knew and loved. And I think it just cheapened his sacrifice. But this is just my opinion. I want to hear what you think down below in the comments section. Now, I know a lot of people have gotten very heated on both sides of this debate. Keep it civil, please. We're talking about a movie about space wizards and laser swords that didn't actually happen. But I do want to have this discussion with you. Let me know what you think about my theory and my take here, that the non-loss of 3PO kind of diminishes what his sacrifice was, and if you do see this in other aspects of the sequel trilogy. Let me know. If you have any other comments or questions, as always, feel free to send me an email at rocksolidmail@gmail.com. Hit me up on Twitter at rocksolidstudios, Facebook at facebook.com/rocksolidproductions, and Instagram at instagram.com/rocksolidproductionsgk. Now, if you want, you can also go ahead and help support the future of Rock Solid Productions. We've got a couple different ways that you can do that. First and foremost, head on over to our Patreon page on screen now at patreon.com/rocksolid for as little as $1 a month, $12 a year. You get early access to our video content, exclusive content, and more. You can also head on over to our Teespring store on screen right now and pick up some Rock Solid Productions swag featuring the Rock Solid Productions logo on t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, and a whole lot more. Now, if you want to see someone who maybe has a different point of view than what I have here, do me a favor, go check out the Anti-Trekker. I will have his information down below in a pinned post where he actually didn't like Rise of Skywalker, didn't like The Last Jedi, but liked The Rise of Skywalker. So it's interesting to see the different opinions that are out there. I disagree with his opinion, but I can do so respectfully, and we've had some good conversations about it. And check him out in general as well if you are a fan of nerd and geek culture. And like I mentioned at the top of this video, if you like what you see here, if you want to see more, do me a huge favor. Give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and hit that bell notification. That way each and every time we do upload new content, you are kept the most up to date. Poor 3PO, we thought we knew you. Well, I guess we still do because you didn't pass on, get reprogrammed, get your memory wiped, become a whole new droid. A whole new droid with new stories to go out and tell. Sorry, couldn't help myself. Actually, I could help myself, I just chose not to. Anyways, I am Gary. This has been Rock Solid Productions, and how I think C-3PO's story arc kind of undermines the fact there's no risk whatsoever to the characters in the sequel Disney trilogy. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you soon.